Let the record reflect that all supervisors are present at roll call. Madam Chairwoman?
Do we have any public comments? Okay, thank you. Golf course staff reports, we're going to pass on John right now. He has his youngest son at the doctor. We think he broke his hand, so he will be here shortly. In the meantime, we'll put John's stuff towards the end, or whenever he gets here. Jeff? You're on, Jeff.
Oh, I'm on, am I?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, you didn't have to take a child to the doctor.
So, as of today, we're 20,000 ahead for the month for budget already, with 5 days left. So probably looking at somewhere between 60 and 80,000 ahead for the month of April. Another busy month. Range activity's been great. Play's been good. Everything's been really solid for that. So another good month for the golf course as far as operational cash flow. Other than that, we don't have a lot going on per se. John had to thank for the putting green. I see that. Looks like the lays came in a little bit lower. I think that we need to probably plan on, if we could, take one of the bids and move forward with that. My opinion would be that's very important to go ahead with this putting green project.
When I spoke with John with regard to Blaze Golf, the only thing that they did not include was the grass bridge on the 13th sand track. But looking at the prior bid, that was like $4,200, so
That's minimum.
this still comes in way below from where we were. So we'll wait for John to come in, and because he's worked with both of these companies. But I do agree, I think it's something that we need to do. And then when the golf course bankruptcy bond is paid, and we use that money to do the whole course, that we can just freshen it up at that point. But I'm not sure that this can wait. The other thing I want to talk to John about when he comes is, I know we talked about doing fake turf. We just need to talk about some of the tee boxes.
As far as the ball machine goes, we're still waiting on delivery for that. They're a little bit behind, like everybody else in the world. It's just a matter of running behind. We got new rental clubs in. They're almost ready to go. All we're waiting on is for the bags to be finished with the embroidery, say rental clubs on them. That should be today or tomorrow. They look really nice, and should be successful with those. I'd say 4 weeks. So we got a couple projects going on. We might just put the ball machine out initially without a covered area over it, because we might look at a couple different ways of covering it. I know we talked about some things happening as far as the tent and,
Right. Can it be left out without a cover?
It's metal, it should be okay. I mean, we could put up a temporary tent. We have those covered tent things that we use.
I think we should do something just to...
We could come up with a temporary
We'll find
solution.
something.
But I do like the idea of everything being uniform and matching.
Yeah.
And we talked about potentially replacing the tent with a pavilion, and then changing the way the front area is with that tiki hut that's been there forever that's fallen apart.
Yeah.
Actually making them a little bit better and more permanent structure that they would all match.
Right.
So I'd like to get them all to match, including, I know some people don't like our starter shed, that little green one.
Yeah, I know someone doesn't.
So yeah, I mean, we could make them all match together. That would be great. I think that's probably for the best anyway.
Okay.
And,
But that's something when we get this ball machine, I would like it somehow to be protected.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
Other than that, I really don't have a lot going on. We're getting ready for. We do have a expanded calendar coming out. Crosby will probably send it out to you guys later today or tomorrow.
And she'll put it on the website.
Yeah, we've added some events, including the middle school event on May 12th, May 13th, ESPN, May 14th, we got the fire protection companies having a 36 team event, and then there's a softball league having an event on the 15th. So we got 12, 13, 14, 15th of May with tournaments, fundraiser golf tournaments. I'd like to bring it to the board's attention and just put it out there that we could theoretically host more fundraising events, but we do have a men's league on Saturday, and I try to steer people towards Sunday or Friday events and try not to block men's league on Saturday, but I could probably book every Saturday in May and June and probably the latter part of September and all of October if I wanted to.
What type of revenue are we talking about?
Well, I mean,
Increase?
probably the greens fee would be about flat, but obviously these events have spent a lot more money in concessions.
And in the pro shop.
And with the, pro shop per se, but more in concessions, you're looking at probably a 60 to 70% increase in concessions per day. So a normal men's day concessions will be about, $300. And you go to one of these events, you're looking at $900. So just food for thought that, I want to respect our men's league and love having them, and a lot of residents played it, so forth and so on, but at times, I wonder if we're cutting our nose off to spite our face on Saturdays, especially with these events becoming more and more popular again.
Jeff?
What about?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Can you go back and look at the number of players we had May, June, September? Can you go back in Golf Genius and see how many we had on Saturday? I know in the winter, they run, 40, 50?
Well, the winter wouldn't be an issue. I mean, in the winter, people are running a church fundraiser, they don't want to pay
Right.
$100 for a green fee, because that tours in their charity. And this is the rub for me. Well, here are these guys that support us all throughout the winter, and then I turn to them in the summer and go, we're going to bring all these charity fundraisers in because we make more money. You guys, you play Saturday afternoon or you play Sunday, it's kind of, I think that's kind of not good business.
Like a double-edged sword there. I would, if you could go back and maybe have Tyler or Peyton go through the reports in the last couple of years, just to see how many we have, and maybe we can work around that. Maybe we start the fundraiser a little later, let these guys out, start it a little later. I don't know.
I always try to push them towards Fridays.
Right.
Because Friday in the off-season can be kind of empty sometimes, but, a lot of people, they always seem to sell out. Like the ESPN event sold out in a week.
Okay.
It's on a Friday, because people, they treat it like a 3-day weekend.
Yeah.
They play Friday, and they say, I'm taking clients to play and blah, blah, blah. So they're out Friday, they're out Saturday, they're out Sunday.
This is true.
A lot of people seem to like the Friday event. I don't want to jam up our men's league, but occasionally, it's just too good of an event to pass up.
Right. Well, let's look and see how many we have and see if we can push them to Friday and, see what the men's league says. I know that last weekend, some of the men from the men's league participated in that fundraiser that we did.
For Alzheimer's?
Yeah.
Jeff, but depending on the number of players in the tournament, you could almost combine,
You can.
right?
Yeah.
But the good thing right now is these people are selling out these events.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
But then they want to start at 8:30, they don't want to start at 1.
No, they want to do 8:30, they want to have lunch, and they want to be home by, 2:30, 3 o'clock the latest.
What are the chances you can find another course and sell it to the men's league as, hey, we're going to get you on this course?
Well,
And the other course might actually want the revenue themselves too.
previous years, I would say absolutely not a problem. Nowadays,
Yeah.
Everybody's struggling. And full.
Most golf courses are shrinking their reciprocal list.
Well, since COVID, that has been sort of a standard.
Well, it's
and their memberships are
about
up.
participation. They're overwhelmed. sundown, so.
I mean, we could probably find some places for them, but, I mean, I don't want to treat them like gypsies and put them out in the wind.
No, but you're also selling the fact that, hey, you're gonna go play another course that typically you couldn't play.
See, like the one on
Which actually might be kind of attractive.
The one on the 14th, I'm going to try to find some place to play on the 14th.
May 14th?
May 14th, yeah. So, that's in 2 weeks. Anyway, I wanted to put it out there, put it out to you guys, just letting you know that, okay, this is where we're kind of at with this. I'm not saying we really turned down, I've worked around it right now, but I think that maybe in the future it might become a small issue that, are we turning down the ability to, you guys hearing that? Or is that?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go, went away.
Okay.
I thought it was my ears ringing from, I'm like, what the heck?
Somebody's talking about you. Okay, the other thing that, for the pro shop, Jeff and I had worked with the HOA and ordered a defibrillator to be put up at the pro shop. They've ordered several for the community center. They haven't come in yet. But the local first aid squad is going to help train and show us what to do with that, just so that there is one up there. So that's one of the purchases. They were supposed to be in February, but
Just like everything else in the world?
yep, they're on a ship out in California.
Tony, have we talked about the liquor license at all, or are we anywhere with?
Haven't talked about it much, and until in my quick looking at the rules and regulations, I'm not sure if it's possible, again, because of the Duffys and all that. So we will continue looking at that, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because having two on one property, is that what the?
Well, you don't have you can't get the restaurant kind of liquor license. You'd have to buy, standalone liquor license.
There's a club liquor license that will allow it just for sale on the golf course.
Yeah, the question is whether it's a club. We need to make sure we meet the qualifications for a club.
Yeah.
That's always the test. Yeah, that's the issue.
What's the definition of club?
Let's go back and look at it. They talk about.
Okay.
Open to the public, may or may not, I have to look at, there may be like membership for a day. I mean, in the past, I've done that before with other clubs. You have a membership for a day, your tea time pays for a membership, but whether that's still viable or not, we need to check on.
Okay.
Okay. Other than that, I don't have anything.
Can I ask you a question? My name is Swan.
Somebody hasn't plugged that hole.
Currently, I don't see a budget for fiscal year '22 on the website.
It should be on there. I'm not sure why it's not. We'll get it out there.
Okay, thank you. Well, anyway, without that on there, I noticed that at the golf course, the money goes into the SunTrust account. Is that right?
Yes.
The cash? And there's $886,000. My question for Jeff was really, obviously during the summertime, you probably lose money, I guess. So what do you project that cash account to be by the end of the year based upon your golf trends?
Well, I mean, last year we finished the fiscal year, I want to say about 300 and something. And we had a COVID loan from the water fund that we paid back. So I would imagine it should be somewhere around somewhere between 3 and 400,000.
And the fiscal year ends in December.
September 30th.
So we've got about 5 months or
Until then,
something like that. And there's also, are these money market accounts, or what are they, the investments that are golf course for $300,000 or $400,000, $300,000?
Oh, that's the bond. That's the bond payment.
That's the bond.
So I'm talking about under assets.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Those are the bonds?
That's the bond payment. So like each month,
I see, you put money into that.
right, and then
So it's kind of an accrual account.
Yes, sir.
Like that.
Yes.
So, and then there'll be a payment due in May, is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah, the payment due in May and November, May and November, I think. Correct.
Right. We paid November, May 1st, we paid the principal and interest, and then in November, we paid just interest. And then next May, it's principal and interest, and then that would be done.
And if at the end of the year, you, in October, you have 300,000, where does the cash, what happens to the cash?
He's rolled over in the next fiscal year.
It just rolls over.
Yes.
Yes. We do have, like, this putting green project is non-budgeted as capital, so that would reduce that number a little, but other than that, we don't really have a lot of other non-budgeted items at this time.
And we do now have a reserve
Right.
for hurricanes, and, which we depleted last
Is
time.
that the thing that says reserve on this, the asset? Is that what you're talking about?
It's under the general fund.
Yeah.
It's on the general fund. It's,
Oh,
Did
is
it
it?
say working capital or something?
it's catastrophic response,
Yeah,
landscape
three.
capital, and working capital, so we have, money there for that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is this the budget?
Okay, Mike?
Jeff, I know we talked about this before, about the alarm, false alarms we're getting.
Yeah.
And they charging us like $400 every time they come. I was thinking that, I don't know, what's kind of a picking order do you have when the alarm goes off? Who do they call?
Me.
You, okay. What about using our security guard right out there, at the gate, just to come and check? Have him get the call and eliminate $400 every time that happens.
Mike, that's a great idea, and I agree with it. The only but I would say to it is, what about, like, have you ever tried to call the gate? I mean, it's like a multitude of
It could take you
layers
5
to get
minutes
through
to
to
get.
get to an individual, to get
Right.
through to a person. And like, I don't know, like, if Guardian Hawk, the person calling is gonna be, we'd have to work it out, in other words.
Well, yeah.
I will speak with
Maybe
Tammy
a direct
about it.
number or something?
Yeah, I mean, I can speak with Tammy, and honestly, if we're going to use their security company, I'm sure that we would incur a fee to do that. And I'm sure it won't be the $400 each call. But I can speak with Tammy about that. I'll talk to Tammy and Bill Reynolds
I
and
mean,
see.
especially if we're gonna be owning the building.
Right. The other thing too is, Jeff, I was just thinking, a lot of those alarms you set up from people yanking on the door. And I know we tightened up that so that it wouldn't, and we'd have to check with Joe with the insurance. What if we took that off the door but put a motion detector like 3 feet in?
Yeah.
So if somebody yanked the door and got in, it would go off once they were in the building. I mean, that's something that you can speak with Guardian about, and you need to speak with Joe as far as the insurance purposes, if that would be an issue. I know we did that at some of the banks that were in a mall where people would yank on stuff, and it was more motion detector as soon as they came through the door. So can we speak with the alarm company?
When you get an alarm call, they identify what.
Yeah, they'll tell me what, if it's
We don't have a clubhouse. do we?
Car Barn X or Pro Shop door, entry door, Pro Shop exit door, or snack bars when I get a lot of calls.
That's a problem.
So, a lot of times, if somebody calls me at 1:30 in the morning, I'm like, yeah, send out the officer, because I have no idea,
Oh, I know, it's nice to get.
like we get, like, I've been actually sitting in the pro shop when I got a call because the girls locked it and then somebody yanked or pushed the window and set the alarm off, and they're calling me. I'm like, no, it's a false alarm. But, we have a lot, the cart barn is the one we get the most on. And that's because we have raccoons. Raccoons set the alarm off. They trip the alarm coming off the doors, or somehow they'll trip the alarm. But, at 2:15, you can't, 2:15 a.m., you can't tell, is that the raccoon tripping the alarm, or is that?
Right.
And my question to the Lee County Sheriff would be this: how do you know? How do you know it's a false alarm? I mean, you get there, nobody's there, okay, you declare a false alarm and you send us a bill, but how did you know that? How
Yeah.
did you know that it wasn't somebody trying to get in and then they got nervous and left?
Is there a audible alarm that goes off?
There will be in the cart barn, yes.
Okay.
So somebody has to manually turn that off.
Yes.
Like timeout.
Oh, they'll time it out it'll time out, but yeah, if you pop that door in the cart barn, it'll definitely go off. And the one in the pro shop is silent, I think.
Okay.
So, I don't know, it just
Lot of
seems
money.
like we're playing Lee County Sheriff protection money. I mean, for lack of a better term. How do you know it's not a vandal?
Yeah, because they didn't catch somebody, and that's why. With the concession stand, so they're rattling the window,
Yeah.
then we just put the alarm on.
I mean, so we share a building with a sports bar. And sports bars, people have some cocktails and they rent and they can go out the back door and they come over and they rattle doors and they try to get in the doors and, people have been served. You know what I mean? I mean, we get that. It happens.
All right, let's talk to the alarm company, because I'm thinking maybe if we do an audible alarm in the concession stand, maybe we do a motion detector rather than, so if they rattle the window, it's not going to set it off. I know we just did those. And maybe just do the pro shop, just to see if we can do this sensor, like right inside the door.
Okay. I'll call and talk to them and have them come out.
Okay, and see what we can do. I mean, the cart barn is another issue. I mean, I can't,
Yeah, there's nothing we can really do about that.
But, and I'll talk to Tammy about having the guards. I'm not sure how that would work, but we can,
What are we paying annually in these folks' alarm fees?
Well, I mean,
$5,000.
it's going to cost about $5,000. I put it off for a couple of years. I've kind of argued with them about
discussions.
yes. Yes, I've had discussions with them about I don't really think it's fair that we have to pay this. And, finally the chickens came home to roost, as the saying goes, we got to pay them. So now we're paying this year. I just don't.
Well, you know what, let's talk to the alarm company. I'll talk to Tammy, and maybe we can get a sheriff here to see what we can do to make their life easier and our life easier.
Yeah, I mean,
They should do that. They should volunteer to do that.
Yeah, okay. All right. What else, Mike? Okay.
Hey, Chuck, can you send the budget? I don't know why. We have agendas on here.
But the budget's not on.
It's the
It's
2021
handled by a
budget.
separate web manager, so.
Yeah, I know.
I'll
We
get-
usually send her
I'll have it-
Danielle or...
I'll have it sent over.
It's weird.
Okay, anything else, Jeff?
I have nothing else.
Okay, all right. Again, I'm going to wait for John. The Landscape Committee met yesterday with John and Teresa and Elizabeth, and Brian is here from Juniper. Brian, if you'd like to come up and, as I said to you before the meeting, our concern was the center median. So with that, we are leaving the 3 medjool palms.
Yes.
Okay, and we are going to put, do you know what kind of palms, the smaller palms we would be putting in between those? Because what the plan is to leave the 3 medjool palms so we can hang our Christmas lights. And they're very expensive and cost a lot to replace. What kind of palms are?
Ultimately, the decision will be up to you.
Okay.
I can obviously give you several choices.
Okay,
Initially, I would probably say a pygmy date palm, just because it's the same family as the medjool.
okay,
They don't have a very similar look.
okay.
But, we could also do a Christmas palm or Alexander, or something like that.
Elizabeth?
We're thinking of foxtails, because the Christmas palms have berries and all the other debris that we could have.
Right, and, foxtails will produce a seed stem also. With the foxtails, I'm just kind of concerned that they would probably get tall and compete with medjools, because ultimately, a foxtail will probably top out about 35 feet.
But at what lifespan? Like, how quickly do they grow?
Could probably As if you plant one that's, let's say, 15 feet away to the top of the leaf, you could probably reach that within 10 years.
10 years, okay. But the Christmas palm is what that would not get as tall.
That would not get as tall. You're probably looking at 20, 23.
Okay, and how often do those berries
Well, just going on with one I have at my house, I'm cutting them down 3 times a year.
Okay.
And I would say the same thing with foxtail, because I have both of them.
Okay. And what was the other one that you were suggesting?
Alexander's. It'd be somewhere in between those two, a thinner trunk.
Okay.
Are those the ones with the pricklies?
No.
No?
No. It's the same type of feel as the foxtails or Christmas palm, self-cleaning. But again, they will have a berry stem there.
All of them are going to have the seed pods.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
The phoenix palms, pygmy dates, they will have spikes at the base of the leaf.
and we don't want the spikes.
That's what we have in front of the garden?
Yes.
Okay.
And there's,
I'm sorry, Joe?
there's been discussion about, do we keep that one in the front of the guardhouse? Do we change it? Possibly whatever if a decision is made to change that one in front of the guardhouse, whatever we choose there could possibly go
Yeah, I
on
would want
individuals.
Okay. And then down the center median between the palms is a ground cover.
Yes.
What you were saying.
Down the main,
ground cover.
the first meeting you come to, yes, I do have a hedgerow. Let's say I am proposing a hedgerow.
Okay.
Something that will stay small and will take very well to maintenance,
Okay.
which means you can form it, keep it formal, and just have a nice, clean look.
And you said some of them could have,
What I'm thinking right now, yes, it would have flowers.
okay.
Something like a dwarf ixora or something like that.
And then, again, at the end of, then we would still have the annual bed.
Yes.
The annual bed, as you're approaching we were talking about approaching the guard shed, having the palm tree there, a hedge in front of the,
A hedge just directly underneath the window in front of the wall. And then just a very simple ground cover in front of that.
okay. And could the ground cover be similar to the hedge that we put, is there something that we could, I don't know much about.
Let's talk about that.
Okay,
If perhaps we change what goes up in the main median,
okay,
we can come up with something that will work together,
okay,
be the same or very similar to the look.
okay. And then once we get down to the main, we're taking out those hedgerows that are in the center median.
In the center median along the main,
So we're just going to insert palm and some shady
a
ladies.
few more shady ladies, and then it would just be grass.
And
or
just sod through the whole thing. And then the annuals at either end. So, and then I just spoke with Brian about where in the drawings at the corners he has sod. And Brian, you were saying that as we pull everything out and look at what trees we may or may not be taking down, to plan for sod to see what we really would like as time goes,
Yeah, with something like this where we're tearing out the view corridors, basically to open them up. My initial thought is to, whatever we tear out, we put in sod. That way we get a feel. You just get a feel of, do we actually need anything to go back in? Do we need shrubs at those corners? Or can we just leave it as sod? I feel, with the way things are, and we tear them out, I feel the best way is to just put back in sod, so that way we make it as safe as possible. And then we can see if we actually need to replace anything that we tear out.
okay. And the other thing I asked him to look at as he leaves today is look at that, the corner, the main entrance. And to look at those entrance corners. What we're going to do in the interim is just put some annuals there to add a little color.
Okay.
But we're not sure with the berms what we may or may not have to take down. But that corner really, we're going to have the annuals here, and as you come to the stop sign, those two corners really need to have something.
To kind of tie it all together, because right now, that's our main focal point. When you're at that stop sign and you're looking at it, there's nothing there.
Okay.
It's just, it's
Blah.
yeah.
So that's the corner that we really need to look at.
Hey, let me ask, any particular look, or you just want something, a lot of color, a lot of
to kind of match
flash?
it to the end of the median, kind of the annuals.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, even maybe removing, let's say like 2 sets of those palms and putting a royal palm to kind of tie that median in
Okay.
to that look. I don't know, after you start driving around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to kind of
Tie that all in on the two corners there. And then if we have the palms, and then just do a bit beneath it.
Yeah.
So-
It wouldn't be much because the color would be from the annuals.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's really what we're looking for at that point. And I was asking Brian about the cul-de-sacs.
Yeah.
Yes, we do like the pavers.
Okay.
Okay. Brian was saying that what were those trees?
A satin leaf and a tangerine, pink, purple, kind of thinking in those colors. And the shrubs, I have a big variety of shrubs going into the meeting. So there's,
There was a lot.
Yeah.
There was a lot in there that we were trying, and now from your renderings, it looked like you were removing the palms.
yes,
But visually, that would kind of be, when you're looking across the lake or driving in, I think it just would lose a lot by removing the palms.
Okay.
That's visual height,
okay. Do you think the palms are too sparse? Would bringing more in? Yeah, okay.
I think the palms are fine.
I asked Brian to do a Photoshop rendering
render?
of these with these 3 trees. If you could also do one with a palm
Just
and maybe
leaving-
another palm,
Yep.
or doing something like that. If we could get a Photoshop of the color and the renderings of what that would look like, because the cul-de-sac's really going to be what's going to, probably be a focal point of each street, because at the corners, since we've taken out, and we will continue to take out for the line of sight, which you all helped us with, a lot of that probably will remain sod or some
Low, very low.
low bushes. So that's really, so the cul-de-sacs and the main entrance and the main coming through is really the pop point. And we're looking to have it as low maintenance as possible. I mean, that really is part of our goal with all this, so we don't have all that trimming and doing all that. So if you could work on that for us.
Sure.
Okay? And maybe sometime before our next meeting, which would be May 31st, maybe you could come in and speak with Teresa and John and Elizabeth and I, just to look at some of this stuff?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so if you could work on that stuff. Do you guys have any questions? The board have any questions for them? Okay.
What's the cost estimate of doing all
The cost of what?
doing this renovation to the common ground? Is there any?
We have, what was our budget? I think we budgeted $1 million.
$1
$1 million
million.
to do all this, yes, and that was a budget, but we don't have all the final numbers. And a lot of the, quite honestly, a lot of the work has been done by John's group removing the stuff. Doing the sod is going to be lower maintenance, so we don't have until we decide what we're going to do and then get a price for all these things. We're working around $1 million.
Okay, one other question. We used to call it common area landscaping, and then in the engineering report, landscape renovation. Is that one of the same? Or is it two different?
In your budget, you have maintenance, landscape maintenance. In this engineer's report, it's a landscape renovation, it's a capital replacement program.
So say that again.
It's a capital replacement program in the engineer's report. It's maintenance in your budget.
So we have to maintain it constantly, and then we're going to renovate and replace it.
And that's still going to remain in-house.
At this point in time, until we, well, the thing was, if we go out and have somebody bid on something today, next year it could be completely different. So you're bidding on doing rose bushes, and next year you have palm trees. So, you know, we opted to wait until the renovation was done, so the people are bidding on what's here and not what might be or what was.
And that'll be part of the bond?
The maintenance will not be part of the bond. The renovation, yes.
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 Landscape renovation, that's the million.
That's the
Yes.
million, yes, sir.
And then we have the common ground separately in our general fund.
For maintenance.
For maintenance, for,
And small plant replacement. We have a small plant replacement item in there, but it's not a capital
This is going to
improvement.
change a little bit because you're going out for a separate contract
We don't
for
know it.
irrigation.
we don't know at this point what we're doing with that. We're waiting to get the plans for this, and that's all part of the estimate. We don't have final, I mean, I can't go out and have somebody do something if I don't know what they're going to do. So, Brian, the other thing is that the village is currently pursuing doing the walkway in front of our whole property here.
Oh, okay.
So we may have to sit down and work with the village and the county, because they said they would help us, and need to replace some stuff where they tore all that stuff down, and we have the fence out back here. I don't think we really actually ever went back there. We talked about it.
Okay.
So,
So that's not the out front?
yes.
Oh, it is out front?
Yeah, it's out front in the back here.
Oh,
You went
okay.
down Park Street where that green covered fence is right now.
Yes.
They took everything down. So
Okay.
so the village, the county, and us will be working on replacing that together.
Okay.
So we'll work together with them.
Sure.
We'll